Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week of Wednesday Night Dash presented by Stadium Scene TV. Today we got a fun one. We have the Don't Mess with Texas 75 here at Texas Motor Speedway in Fort Worth, Texas. Real quick, let's take a look at Texas Motor Speedway. It opened in 1996. It is a 1.5 mile cookie cutter track with 20 degrees of banking in turns 1 and 2 and 24 degrees of banking in turns 3 and 4. Today's session rules is a 40-minute practice as normal with 5-minute 2-lap qualification and 75 laps with the competition yellow at lap 35. Now, after last week's race, let's take a look at the point standings. Right now, Colton Gardner is sitting at 285, but right behind him, only about a 56-point gap, is Brian McKinney sitting at 229. Then sitting third is Dylan Behrens at 213 points. Then sitting P4 is DJ Fluck with 205. Then John Miles and Jesse Fox tied at 195. Then Mark Willett at 175. Lane Snow at 171. Ian Miller at 170. Fernando Takahashi at 169. Eric Richardson at 165. Bill Molefield at 117. Tyler Vickery at 55. Andrew Hewitt at 30. Chris Fuge at 28. Mark Vicars at 25. And Justin Eves and Jackson Milan both sitting at 0. Real quick, let's take a minute to shout out our friends at the House of Hockey podcast. On this week's House of Hockey, Ray is joined by guest host Alma Laura. Ray and Alma discuss this week in the NHL and PWHL, specifically Friday's trade, Connor Bedard's jersey sales, and more. Tune in to House of Hockey, 5 p.m. Eastern, Thursday, right here on Stadium Scene TV. Now, next season, I'm sure it's been announced that I will be returning to the car next season. So right now, we are currently looking for some broadcasters. If you want to be an esports broadcaster, Stadium Scene TV provides graphics and information each week. You must already need to be a iRacing subscriber. The broadcast runs Wednesday nights from 10 to 11, and you need experience with OBS or Streamlabs OBS and timing and scoring software. Become the new voice of Wednesday Night Dash live on Stadium Scene TV. Next season, we'll kick off with the Craftsman Truck Series on April 17th at 10 p.m. Eastern. DM us or email media@Stadium Scene TV for more information. Now, speaking of that, tonight we have a new voice in here. His name is Trevor Pratzer. So apologies if I butchered your last name there. Well, Trevor, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Pretty darn good. We're going to have a really fun race here at Texas. Showing some speed already in practice from Colton Gardner and the number 1 of Dylan Behrens. It'll be a fun race. Now, real quick, let's take a look at we have 2 races remaining. We have tonight's race, obviously, at Texas, and then next week we head to Dover, and then we close the season out at Kansas on March 20th. But don't go anywhere, because right after that, picking up April 17th, is the season 9 schedule. We will be in the trucks. We'll be kicking off at Pocono. Then we'll be heading to Atlanta. Then Daytona, Gateway, New Hampshire, Homestead, Sonoma, Michigan, Charlotte, and Las Vegas. Season 9 is going to be very, very fun indeed. The drivers are just now finishing up with practice, so they are getting ready to start their qualifying laps. Take a look. Out on track right now. Dylan Behrens is out on track. Running that Air Jordan number 1 machine. Ian Miller and Mark Willett running their same usual paint schemes for this week. Brian McKinney out on track now. It is number 8 Milwaukee Tools machine. Same as DJ Fluck in his Extreme Sim Racing Stadium Scene machine. That number 88. You know, at least in real life, Texas is known to be quite a tricky racetrack because of the way that the banking is. It can catch drivers off guard, and I know in recent years in real life, we've seen a lot of tire incidents of people blowing right rear tires and wrecking, and I don't think that's a possibility in iRacing. You have to run very, very long to blow a right rear tire, but it's definitely always a possibility. Chris Fuge in that number 68 Legion machine. It looks very nice. First time I'm seeing this paint scheme. Looks like we have about 10 drivers tonight. Colton Gardner back in his Jiffy Lube primary paint scheme. The people are starting to finish up their lap times now. Eric Richardson back in his dad's root beer blue and yellow number 13. Bright blue and that bright yellow together. There was someone else that was running a paint scheme very similar to this. Remembers that it was very hard to tell them apart. Looks like Eric Richardson's the only one that hasn't submitted a qualifying time yet. He's got about a minute to do so, as he's coming around turns 3 for his first flying lap. That's going to put him at P9, but he still has one more lap to go. Let's see if he can improve on his time. He gets a better first sector there. As he comes through. He does improve his time, but he is going to roll off position number 9. This qualifying is about to end. We'll run through the starting grid, and then we'll get this thing underway. All right, rolling off P1 is Colton Gardner, and P2 is Lane Snow. Coming in P3 is John Miles in that lake room at number 54, and Dylan Behrens in his number 1 machine rolling off P4. And P5 is Christopher Fuge in the number 68, and P6 is Ian Miller. Coming in P7 is DJ Fluck, and P8 will be Brian McKinney.
Eric, you joining the Discord?
Eric Richardson rolls off P9, and Mark Willett rolls off P10. As we head trackside, as we get at the end. Still waiting on someone to grid. It looks like Lane Snow and Eric Richardson are still waiting to grid up here. Real quick, as we're still waiting for that driver, let's see if we can drag. Get a. Look like it. Okay, we'll drag DJ in here for a quick little. DJ, it's Hunter in the booth. You got a copy?
I do. Good evening.
All right, good evening. You're rolling off P7 today, but P4 in the points right now. What do you have to do today to solidify your points?
As cliche as this sounds, stay clean. This place can be very treacherous at times. And it gets very slick, and if someone tries to overdo it going into turn 1, especially in these first couple of laps while everything's warming up, it'll get messy in a hurry.
Absolutely. Well, good luck out there today. Keep it clean and keep it green.
Thank you.
The voice of DJ Fluck in the number 88 machine. The drivers are heading into turn 3 now. We're only a couple moments away from green flag racing here at Texas Motor Speedway. Colton Gardner alongside Lane Snow.
35.
Muted my in-game mic, but I guess not. As the pace car dives to the safety of pit road, Colton Gardner, your control car. And the green flag is out here at Texas. Good start by Lane Snow on that outside. And 3 wide already by the number 1 of Dylan Behrens, but is able to duck back in and is actually going to look to the outside of that number 5 of Lane Snow. Pretty clean start from all our drivers tonight. Ready files in single file. Ian Miller looking underneath of the number 68. A little bit of a battle between those two right there. But up front, the number 1 putting the pressure on the number 40 of Colton Gardner. as we see some of the bigger battles are happening back in this back half of the pack. You got the number 68, the number 13, the number 88, and the number 80, all kind of battling pretty hard right now. Remember, the competition caution is at lap 35. These drivers just need to do everything that they can to stay clean for the time being. Pressure is on now. The number 68 is to the back bumper of the 48 of Ian Miller. And that's opening the door up for the number 13 of Eric Richardson. Eric Richardson peeking his nose on the inside, but is not going to be able to get there just yet. There goes the move. Eric Richardson on the charge right now. Let's take a ride inside with Eric Richardson, as he's going to take a bit of a higher line through the turn. But the battle between the number 68 and the number 48 is just starting to heat up. We got about two or three battles happening right now. We have the top three, actually top four, top five almost, all within about a second of each other. And then there's the back half from 6th on back in their own little pack. The heat is turning up here between the number 5 and the number 1 of Dylan Behrens and Lane Snow. Lane Snow looking like he has the run and might have the faster car right now as they come out of turn 4. Lane Snow trying that top line. It's going to make a really nice move to the inside of the number 1 for position 2. They're going to be side by side going through turn number 3. Still side by side as they come out of turn 4. And as they cross the line, the number 1 still has the edge, but the number 5 has not given up just yet. And all that's doing is allowing the 54 of John Miles to catch right up to this pack. Now the number 1 looking to the inside of the 5 of Lane Snow. And that allows your leader of Colton Gardner to just kind of run away with this thing. About a second gap now between P1 and P2. As we see the number 54 actually blinking a little bit. And that allows the number 8 of Brian McKinney to get right back up in the mix. He dropped off from this front pack by just a little bit, but he was able to catch right back up and is turn the heat back up. But in our second pack with the number 48, the 68, 13, 88, and 80, the 68 looks underneath of the 48 of Ian Miller. Chris Fuge is going to have a run as he gets onto the backstretch. Isn't going to be able to do anything with it just yet. But he is definitely cooking something. Shooting back up front, the number 1 of Dylan Barons, the number 54 of John Miles, and the number 8 of Brian McKinney. And one heck of a battle. Almost 3 wide racing between these drivers. You know, it seems like the dirty air is kind of preventing these drivers from making any significant moves. They have to really get out of the dirty air. As Brian McKinney gets a really good run out of turn 4 there. To the inside goes the number 8. And is still not able to make a move yet. The number 8 is hungry for that position number 3. All over the back bumper of that number 54. Let's ride with the number 54 and just see what he's dealing with. It looks like the number 54 is shifting through the corners, which I'm not really sure if any of the other drivers are doing that. The number 8. See if he's shifting through the corners. I know with the next gen cars, shifting is basically required. It looks like they are shifting. But the number 8 is just able to get through the corner way better. It looks like he's going to make the move here. And look who's joined the battle. The number 48 looking underneath the number 1. But here goes the 8 all the way through. Move the number 8 to that number 3 or position 3 spot. And now we have a battle between the number 1, the 48, and the 68 still. The number 54 may have cooked his tires way too hard as they're 3 wide down the back straightaway. Entering turn 3. The number 54 of John Miles losing a lot of ground here. It's going to fall back. Lose a position to Ian Miller and Chris Fuge. And Ian Miller now makes a move on Dylan Barons for that 4th place position. The number 68 and the number 48 put their heads down and now are charging their way through the field. And now we see Eric Richardson making the move on the number 54. But Chris Fuge and Ian Miller are definitely the stories of the race so far. These two are battling each other, and they put their differences aside and now are charging through the field. The question is, though, can anybody chip away at Colton Gardner's 4.5 second lead? At the moment, Colton Gardner is just cruising. Ian Miller looks like he broke away from the pack and is now charging, trying to catch Brian McKinney in the number 8. And now the number 13 of Eric Richardson making the move on the number 1. And he is going to be clear. And we have about 10 laps to go to our stage break. As they run, Colton Gardner P1, Lane Snow P2. Really, really good run from him tonight. Brian McKinney rolling off, running P3. Then Ian Miller running P4. Ian Miller has really turned up the heat in this second half of the season. See what else he can do with the rest of this race. Then we have Chris Fuge in only his second race of the league, sitting P5, running pretty decent. We have Eric Richardson in position number 6, doing what he needs to do. And Dylan Behrens also falling off the pace as DJ Fluck gets around him. DJ Fluck having a solid run today as well. We have John Miles, who was running really, really good, but maybe just cooked his tires way too hard and is now basically a sitting duck on the track. -6 for John Miles right now. Definitely not what you want to see. And the biggest gain so far is Brian McKinney, with +5 positions from his starting spot. But Brian McKinney is under threat of Ian Miller. Ian Miller looks really, really quick. And is going to look to the inside of Brian McKinney. Isn't going to be able to get a move done just yet. But Ian Miller looks very fast. And is going to look to the underneath of Brian McKinney and is going to be there. Oh, Brian McKinney gets slightly loose. Has to kind of chase it up the track. But they stay green and they stay racing. Ian Miller still putting the pressure on and is able to get clear of Brian McKinney. Looking back just a bit, we have the number 13 of Eric Richardson and DJ Fluck. DJ Fluck seems to be looking quite fast here in these closing laps of the stage. Might be able to sneak another position on the number 13 of Eric Richardson. That gap is actually shrinking a good bit, so we're going to keep an eye on this battle right now. Unless anything else changes. There you go, DJ Fluck looking to the inside of Eric Richardson. Isn't going to be able to get there just yet, but definitely has the speed. Over that 13 machine. And Eric Richardson rolls up way, way high. That's going to allow DJ Fluck to get side by side and almost clear before the turn. Eric Richardson going way out of the racing groove. That's going to allow DJ Fluck to get clear, so move DJ Fluck to that P6 position. There's only about 2 laps to go here until our stage break. Eric Richardson, though, fighting back, trying to get his position back, but is it going to be able to carry the momentum far enough? Look at this. Ian Miller now starting to put the pressure on the number 5 of Lane Snow. Ian Miller looks very, very fast in this second half of the stage. So Ian Miller did a great job of saving his tires, as there's only maybe about a handful of corners until our stage yellow, as Colton Gardner crosses the line. So definitely most interesting story of this first half was Ian Miller charging from the back all the way to P3. And if we had maybe 3 more laps, he would have been a threat to that number 5. And that just begs the question, does Ian Miller have the speed to contend with the number 40 of Colton Gardner for this race win? Not sure what. It's a bit of looks like the 40 and the number 2 are on pit road. They might get penalized for that because they're ahead of the pace car. Don't know. And actually, yeah, they're way ahead of the pace car. So they might get penalized for that. We'll just have to wait and see. But as they come down, they're almost good 4 seconds quicker as they go into pit road. So we're going to be watching. They all filter in. Off goes Colton Gardner. Lane Snow getting ready to take off. Actually, Lane Snow still sitting in pit road, maybe serving a penalty. But the number 8 gets one heck of a jump as they all filter out 4 wide, and it looks like Eric Richardson is going to be sitting in that position 3. Oh, and it looks like they're still trying to figure it out. So what a pit stop by Eric Richardson. Is able to come from position 8 and is going to restart 3rd. Maybe even first if the top 2 get penalized for passing the pace car, pitting like after they pit. But we'll just have to see. Maybe they got their black flags cleared. We'll just have to see. But what a pit stop by Eric Richardson. Goes from position 8 to position 3, and then we have Ian Miller sitting position 4. They kind of filter out about the same after that, but that just begs the question, did Eric Richardson take 2 tires? Or did he just get into his box way better? So it looks like they start to file 2 by 2, which means there's only about 1 lap until the green flag is back out. It looks like Lane Snow is taking that penalty. I wonder if Colton Gardner is going to have the same penalty. But he drops to the back of the end of the line. So I'm kind of surprised that Colton Gardner is not having an EOL penalty as well. Maybe we'll just see. But as they roll, the number 40 of Colton Gardner, the number 8 of Brian McKinney, the number 13 of Eric Richardson, and the number 48 of Ian Miller are your top 4. As the pace car gets ready to take the safe left-hand turn to pit road. Colton Gardner, your control car once again. And the green flag is back out. Ian Miller gets kind of a poor start there. And they all filter single file as of right now. Ian Miller immediately under threat by the number 1. And they almost make contact. But here comes the number 68 on the outside. It's able to make some headwind there. And Ian Miller at the moment just kind of seems like a sitting duck. But this is kind of how his pace was in the beginning. But he was really good at saving his tires and was able to charge very, very hard in the end. So I'd imagine he's probably doing the same thing right now. Look at this. Brian McKinney putting the pressure on Colton Gardner, not letting Colton Gardner get away with it as easy as he did in the first half. We gotta pay attention to what's going on back here. It is crazy back here with the 1, the 48, the 68, and the number 5. 68 and the 1 still side by side. Now the 5 is gonna look to shoot, almost going middle 3 wide. Isn't gonna be able to make it work just yet. It's gonna get past the 68, and it's gonna set his sights on that number 1. Some very, very hard racing here from these drivers. As the 48 gets loose and spins out. Hard into the wall goes the 48. And he's going to tow. And that's going to be day done for Ian Miller, which kind of... He had a really, really fast car. Let's actually go ahead and take a look at what happened there, because I missed. Let's see if we can go back and take a look at what happened. So it looks like they're just racing like normal. Let's see if there was any contact or if Ian just got loose off of his own merit. Looks like he actually... it looks like he cuts the nose off of the number 1. And there's just nothing you can do at that point. Gets into the number 5. The number 5 got a good amount of damage there too. Yeah, broke the front off of the number 5. The number 5, I think, is sitting on pit road as of right now. Actually, he's back on the track, so let's go ahead and fast forward. Let's get back to real time. He's able to get a quick repair and get back out there. Only 1 lap down. But man, what an unfortunate incident between the number 48 and the number 5. Looks like Ian Miller's back out on track as well, so good on him to not just rage quit. He seems like he's gonna stick it out. He's 2 laps down though, so unless there's another big incident, Ian Miller pretty much has that 10th place spot locked up. But the top 3 are still only... Really, the top 5 are still only about a half a second... Or about a second apart. Colton Gardner's not feeling the ease of access that he had in this first stage. Let's take a ride with Eric Richardson as he makes his way around. Now it's interesting to notice that Eric Richardson is not shifting. He's one of the drivers that I've noticed are not shifting, because I think Colton Gardner might be shifting. Yeah, Colton Gardner's shifting. Ryan McKinney's shifting. Eric Richardson is not. And here comes Dylan Behrens in that number 1 machine. But it seems to be working for Eric, though. Seems like he doesn't need to shift and is able to get the drive off that he's looking for. But he's going to be under threat by the number 1 now. For that final podium spot. Eric Richardson looking underneath of the 8, but is going to open up the door for the 1. The 13 and the 1 now having a one heck of a battle. And the number 1 is going to look to the inside of the 13. And Eric Richardson's going to give him the room. Was able to still hold on. That top line seems to be working really well for that 13. But I think at the end of the day, the number 1 just is faster by a little bit. Although that last time, Eric Richardson was one of the faster cars on the racetrack. So we'll just have to see. Maybe Eric Richardson's kind of not shifting strategy is helping him in the long run. Maybe he's saving his tires more. Still the closest battle on the track right now. But Brian McKinney is not getting away from... Or Colton Gardner's not getting away from Brian McKinney. Dylan Behrens gets around Eric Richardson, but Eric Richardson is still putting the pressure on as Colton Gardner is getting ready to cross the line for 20 laps to go here in this race at Texas. DJ Fluck looking underneath of Chris Fuge for that position 6 spot. He's gonna have it pretty soundly. Everybody getting pretty evenly spaced out now. So we're going to take you on a little bit of Turn It Up presented by Stadium TV. As we're seeing Dylan Behrens in the number 1 all over the racetrack, and not really sure he is having one heck of a battle right now. It's allowing Eric Richardson to close that gap once again. But as you saw during the Turn It Up segment, Dylan Behrens was dang near the inside wall. Don't forget that if you are interested in becoming an iRacing broadcaster, this league is currently out searching. Only a couple of requirements though. You must be an iRacing subscriber. And we would like you to have experience with OBS and different timing and scoring softwares. For any additional information, DM media at Stadium Scene TV for all of the information. The battle between these two is heating up with just about 10 laps to go. Dylan Behrens looks like he's overcooked his tires. Did Eric Richardson save the tires that he needed for this final kind of hurrah? Gap about 0.2 of a second. And that number one machine is driving like crazy. Just about 10 laps to go here for Colton Gardner. Same story, different day for the number 40 of Colton Gardner, who never fails to put on a show. Led almost every lap of this race so far with only about 9 laps to go. What a job by Mr. Colton Gardner. But we're going to keep you updated with this battle. Not only about 1/10 of a second as they enter turn 1. It jumps to about... Oh, Dylan Behrens is blinking. That may explain some things. But now Eric Richardson on the back bumper of Dylan Behrens. It's all coming down to this. 7 laps to go. It's go time. If there was ever Eric Richardson gets a really good run, and that he forces the number 1 to check up. Or else the number 1 would have wrecked them. The number 1's probably going to try and dive bomb here. But Eric Richardson's going to take that 3rd place spot once again. With 6 laps to go. And the number 1 goes way off the racing line. But is able to keep it straight. Looks like he just got loose. His tires are cooked. And he might be throwing in the white flag. Or the white towel today. No, unfortunate for... He was having a really, really good run. Looks like he's... But everybody has their moments when they need to throw in the towel. Like 5 laps to go now. 4 laps to go. Everybody over a second split apart. So everybody's pretty evenly spaced at the moment. So not really too many close battles. They were kind of the close battle. Look at DJ Fluck on track to getting another top 5. DJ Fluck also one of those drivers that have turned up the heat in this second half. Dylan Behrens back out on track though, so also good for him to not completely throw in the towel and like quit. But he's gonna pull right back up in front of your leader, Colton Gardner. Only has 2 laps to go here at Texas Motor Speedway. as Colton Gardner goes through turns 3 and 4. Colton Gardner is going to see the white flag presented by Stadium Scene TV. As Colton Gardner led a perfect race, led every single lap. As they come to the checkered flag, Colton Gardner is your winner here at Texas. And Brian McKinney comes across the line at P2. Eric Richardson comes across the line at P3. DJ Fluck P4. John Miles P5. Chris Fuge P6, Mark Willett P7, Dylan Behrens P8, Barons P8, Lane Snow P9, and Ian Miller rounding out the field P10. Another really strong, dominating performance by the number 40 of Colton Gardner. So we are going to drag some people in here for some good old post-race interviews. It's like we'll drag in Mr. Colton Gardner, drag in Eric, and drag in DJ as well. So we'll get started here with DJ, if it's available right now. Right now it's showing his screen. All right, well, DJ, you're bringing home P4 tonight. Remember, at the beginning of the race, we said just keep it clean and green, and that's exactly what you did. DJ, tell me about your night.
It was a good learning experience. I got kind of caught in the back in the front half of the in the first half of the race, but towards the end of the stage, I noticed that my tire saving was paying off. I was running maybe a little too conservative at the start, but the tire saving I saw I was gaining quickly on people, and same thing happened in the second. I just didn't quite get up to Eric in third, but it's tire saving definitely saved me tonight.
Absolutely. We were seeing tire saving all throughout the field. Another one of the drivers that had an unfortunate incident was Ian Miller. Ian Miller had pretty much the best example of tire saving. He was running kind of in that second pack with all of you guys and drove all the way to the front and was in contention, but had an unfortunate incident. But yeah, good job tonight, DJ. Well-deserved P4 is a really good points finish for you as well. Should be interesting to see going into next week.
Yep, thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, and coming home at P3 tonight is the number 13 of Eric Richardson. Eric, kind of same deal that DJ was in. Looked like you had pretty good tire saving strategy and was able to pounce at the end. Eric, tell me about your night.
Yeah, after qualifying and how the first half went, I was kind of like, what is going on here? But somehow after the pit stops, ended up towards the front and just tried to cruise along, keep it clean.
Yeah, you had one heck of a pit stop. Entered pits P8, left pits P3, and that is where you stayed. Did you do anything special on pit road, or were you just able to get in and out of your box quicker?
I noticed we were a little bit under the speed limit, and I pushed it right to the edge, and I think pitting there at the back actually helped get in and get moving.
Yeah, definitely, and you paid off more than anybody else in the field. Also good run for you. A P3 is nice. I know you missed the last 2 weeks for personal reasons, but a P3 tonight will help get some of those points back that you missed out on the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, I don't think I can get back up to where I was, but a lot of fun just out running tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's all I have for you tonight, Eric. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you.
And our winner tonight in dominating fashion once again is the number 40 of Colton Gardner. Led a perfect race, led every lap, I think. Colton, tell me about your night.
Tires, or well, the track, it was hot. It really ate up the tires a whole bunch, so it was important to just try and control the car off the corner, not get it too squirrely, not get it loose. Off of 2 and 4, but really it was a pain tonight. Trying not to let the back end step out on you, and Brian gave me a heck of a run there at the end of the race. He kept up there for a good bit. It was awesome on him, and it was a fun race, but maybe let's get the track temp a little cooler next time.
Yeah, we definitely saw a lot of issues with people spinning their tires. Not too many actual like wrecking incidents, but there were a lot of people getting loose off of the turns and saving it. But yeah, I have a question to ask you though. Did you get a penalty after the caution for passing the pace car?
Yeah, it did something weird. Usually, like, whenever the caution comes out, you go around and then you collect up behind the pace car. But for whatever reason, it was telling us to slow way down to get the pace car in front of us. So I didn't want to get run over from behind because the pace was still a little bit high right there, with everybody catching up. And I got the penalty, but I mean it was cleared just because of such a odd occurrence. It's been happening from what I was told quite a bit lately. So
Speaking on behalf of the league here, we made the decision to clear because this is now on the Tuesday league, we had that incident happen where the pace car comes out and then it just kind of hangs there and it doesn't give you a chance to line up behind it. So both Colton and Lane Snow were black flagged because just luck of the draw or unlucky position. So we made the decision on the fly to clear the flags.
Okay. Although I thought I saw Lane Snow go to the end of the line, so I was
Lane got a pit speeding penalty.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so he was shuffled to the back.
Okay, because then I didn't realize that, because then I saw like Lane go back, and then I was like, is Colton not serving his penalty? But yeah, it's just one of those weird iRacing things, because then I saw Ian Miller right behind the pace car, and then you and Lane Snow were like 5 seconds ahead of the field coming down pit road, and it was interesting to see, but that didn't seem to affect your race too much though. But yeah, before I let you go, Colton, as always, is there anybody you would like to thank?
yeah, I'd like to shout out Jiffy Lube. Texas is where their headquarters is based, and running the Jiffy Lube car this week again. Went 3 for 3 with it this season, which is really, really cool. It's nice to get them another win. Thanks to French Broad Fire and Rescue, W, Castle Karen Creations, Carolina Legion, Moza, Good Clean Humor. Thank you to everybody that helps this thing go around each and every week, and we'll be back for Dover next week.
Yeah, and exactly. Dover, the Monster Mile next week is going to be very, very interesting. I think we were there in the ARCA cars last season, and it put on a great show, so I can't wait to see what these next-gen cars will put on. But, Colton, that's all I have for you tonight. You go ahead and enjoy the rest of your night.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good broadcast tonight.
Thank you. Drop them back into their driver chat. But that is all I have for you guys tonight. Remember, next week, same time, same place, Dover Motor Speedway, the Monster Mile. It's going to be exciting. You don't want to miss that. And then the week after that, we're going to close out the season at Kansas under the lights. It's going to be a fun last 2 races of the season. So yeah, my name is Hunter Hughes. I was broadcasting tonight. And I'll see you all next week. Goodbye.